it's week 4 of the Global Read Out Loud. I have fewer questions this week, so I'm going to do just one video where I answer them all. But I'm going to start off with the book giveaway. So I did the random number generator, and it chose number 15, and that's Miss Cindy DeMoss' class from Inman, Kansas at Inman Elementary School. You have won a copy of Stella DIAZ Has Something to Say and an advanced copy of Stella DIAZ Never Gives Up. So I will be mailing those to you soon. But now let's begin the questions. Okay, now the questions from Mrs. Cornfield's class. Let's see, did your abuelo sing and play guitar? Yes, he did. So he did have a radio program in the 40s, and so he performed as a professional musician, and then he would come and visit us when we lived in the United States, and he'd always brought us guitar and would sing for us, which is one of my favorite memories. From Miss Hatch's class in Massachusetts, why did you name the main character Stella DIAZ? So it was named after Streetcar Named Desire, Stella and Stanley, and then DIAZ is from my grandfather's last name. From Mrs. Holland's 2nd grade class in New Jersey, what is your favorite part of the book? I think probably when you still might be a little earlier in the book, but later on there's the scene at the Shed Aquarium, and that is probably one of my favorite moments because that's the first inspiration for the entire book. From Miss Wood's class at Dolphin Island in Alabama, what inspires you when you're deciding what you want your characters to look like? Sometimes it's like a person's face, or sometimes it's like a movie, like I see a character and I think like, wow, that kind of looks like the character I would imagine for my story, or maybe there was a story with them. With Stella, it was really just, I wanted to draw curly hair and polka dots, and so that kind of came up with the whole idea. From Miss Hand's class, Stella's dad is not always there for Stella and her brother. Why did you choose to make him look that way? Well, I think that's how some families are. Obviously, families can be all different shapes and sizes. My dad was like that, so I kind of just wanted to show my experience with my own father, and I thought kids might be able to relate to it in different ways. From Mrs. McMayo's class in Brooklyn, New York, when you finish a book, do you start the next one right away? Sometimes it's like very flattering and very exciting. I'll finish a book and then I have another book lined up, so I have to get to work on that immediately. But sometimes if I'm still kind of thinking about the next book idea, I'll take a little bit of a break. But I love working on my books, so I don't do that too often. I usually try to have things to work on immediately. From Mrs. Wiggs' class in Bloomington, Illinois, did you ever go to your mom's work like Stella? I did. So I would go to my mom's work, and she had an old typewriter there that nobody else was using, and I would type up my story and then do my own little drawings, and then I had my own little books. Miss Clavel's class, or Mademoiselle Clavel's class in Winnipeg, does Stella love Stanley? I don't think she does. I think she admires him because he looks like he has an easy time and he's super confident. She just turns roja because I used to turn roja or red because I would be nervous about talking to someone. And then you suggested that she should go to Mexico in book 3. Well, she's actually going to go to Mexico in book 2, but you'll read about that soon. Then in Adams Elementary in Spokane Valley, Washington, Hayden wants to know, do you like pizza? I do. I love pizza a lot. I usually can't do it with dairy, so I usually do vegan or like a tomato pie. Another food question. Let's see. I think, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this. I think it's Miss White's class. Out of all the American food in the vending machine, why did you choose honey buns as a food Stella was most interested in? Because I was interested in it. I never knew what it was. I didn't grow up eating it, so I'd always see it in a vending machine and wonder, what is that? Do I want to try that? So it's kind of my own fascination. Mrs. Luce's class in West Bend, Wisconsin. Stella has many worries. What are some of your worries and how do you deal with them? You know, I think a lot of people deal with that, like being maybe a little anxious or being a little worried. I usually get worried about not having enough time to work on things. But I think the best thing to do is just try to like talk to someone or walk, or I mean, some people meditate, whatever helps you. Okay, this one's a very fun one. From Mrs. McDaniel's second grade class in Northeast Elementary School. If Stella had a favorite superhero, who would it be? I would think probably Thor, because it would be the one that I would choose. From Mrs. Strawbanger's second class, is the Fantastic Time Machine a real restaurant? So I think I answered this last time, but it is. It's not exactly named that. It's called the Magic Time Machine, and it was in Addison, Texas. Now from Ms. Kitson's class in Morris Plain, New Jersey. What country or state do you live in now? From Jocelyn. I live in Virginia. I live in the capital, which is Richmond, Virginia. Let's see, from Miss Mason's class, Stephanie wants to know, have you ever gone snowshoeing? No, I haven't. I really want to. I hope to go soon. And Jessica also wants to know, have you ever gone to Wisconsin Dells? I haven't, but I've been to Wisconsin, so I've gone really close. I'm hoping to go at some point. From Mrs. Sprinkle's class, what would Stella's character be like if she lived in Mexico? That's such a great question, because I've always kind of wondered about that for myself, like how different I would be if I grew up in Mexico. I talk about it more in the second book. I do wonder, maybe she would still be shy, but maybe she would be less insecure about speaking, because she wouldn't have gotten things jumbled up together. From Mrs. Avanor's third grade class in Missouri. When you're writing a story, this is from actually Miss Avanor. When you're writing a story, what do you think of first? The problem, the characters, or your theme? That is a great question, because that's such a writing oriented question. I usually always think about the characters first, and then I start thinking of what their personality is and give them a name, and I get to really know them, and then I think about the problem, and then I start thinking about themes. Let's see. From Miss Leakey's third grade class in Edmonds, Washington, did I ever have another character name in mind besides Stella? No, I was always kind of set on Stella. There's other names that I really like that sometimes I think maybe that would be another story. Let's see. Mrs. Horner's third grade class in San Jose, California. Did you have to speak in front of classes too? Any tips? So I did in school sometimes, and it would always be really scary. I would always just force myself to go first, and then just remember that I'm more excited than nervous, because I heard that when I was growing up, and that kind of helped me relax a little bit and think about it in a way that it seemed less scary. Now, when I do it, because I speak in front of so many groups, especially kids, I just kind of try to get excited and remember that excitement, and also breathe a couple times before I get up there. And then I try to visualize doing a good job. And then final question from Bryan Elementary in Idaho. How long have you had your dog? So this is a little Petunia here. We have had her for 3 months, and she is a complete joy, and we're happy to have her. So that's it for week 4. I look forward to the final week next week to see what questions you have. Bye.